All right. Welcome.
Okay.
We see that Andre,
Hey.
are you in the house?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Tariq and Andre.
Hi, Tariq.
All
How are
right. How
you?
y'all doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, we're having a very interesting conversation about some ways that we in the community can be more involved in providing an educational outlet for younger artists, and also looking at ways of coming up with alternatives for generating income streams. Because one of the pieces of conversation we talked about was um, there not being alternatives available to these younger artists. So when they go to these companies and they are told what they have to rap about, because they want to make the money and they don't have any options available to them and in terms of income streams, and they do it. And we also said that there is also the reality that a lot of these younger people come from an environment where this conversation and this way of speaking and communicating and behaving is natural. It's not uncommon for them. So they don't even understand or see that there's anything wrong with that picture. So the issue of re-education, and we're looking at, well, how do you educate a group of people? How do we go about doing that? So now we're looking at, there's a young brother from Alton from Florida who is suggesting that we can use technology and the media as a way of communicating and coming up with some catchy phrases or something catchy that would catch the eye of the younger people, and it would hold their interest. I think that's a very good observation that he made. So that's where we are in the conversation right now, looking at alternative ways of various ways of re-educating some of the rappers. And in all fairness to younger people, I've noticed that some of these rappers are not young people. They are full-grown men and women.
Right.
So what do you think happened there? What's that story? Or do you think it's any different for them than it is the younger people?
I think it's the same thing. They need the same information that this new generation is not getting. Like, they didn't get it either.
Mm-hmm.
Half of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, half of these like 40, 45-year-old rappers out there right now. They know better, but they're not using that part to make money. They're not using that part of their mind to make money, even though they know right from wrong. They're still doing what they know is wrong.
Mm.
So it's all about a paycheck at the end of the day. They got to pay the bills, and if nobody's buying the conscious music, or if nobody's buying that or supporting, then there's no money in it. Why would they do it? You know, it's like selling donuts. If nobody's buying those, you're going to sell bagels. So I think these guys are just pretty much going with whatever the flow is. You know, they're going with whatever's making money at the time. When X-Clan, Public Enemy was on top, everybody wanted to be pro-black. Just the same thing. It's all a fad. So now everybody in New York start rapping like they down south, and none of them probably even been down there. So they're going with wherever the money's at. So when California was popping and everybody was listening to Snoop, they thought that was the way to go. So everybody was putting Parliament and Funkadelic samples in their music. Not just New York, but everybody, because that's where hip-hop was at. Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of who got the torch at this time. So in order for us to change the game, we got to take the torch. If you're not taking that torch from the people who are making the money in the industry, if you're not making money, then you don't have a torch. Your light is out if you're not making money.
Right.
So that's what I think this call is about, us making money so that we can have enough light so people will see that with their other means and not just doing it that way. You can do it another way, too.
Yeah, because we talked tonight a bit about the fact that there doesn't seem to be in the underground an independent arena, there doesn't really seem to be a situation where that particular group of individuals has created a situation that allows these younger people to earn money the way that they can earn money, or anything near the way they could earn money with these other companies out here. So that there ends up not being really any incentive for them to stop creating the kind of music that they do, because we don't have anything really to replace what's going on out there right now. So the question becomes one of, well, then what do we need to do in the industry to generate an income stream that allows us to address some of the very issues we say we are concerned about? We're kind of in the same position that the rappers are in. We don't have enough money either.
My phone is muted. Get on the phone. Yeah, no, I'm listening to Dre in the background. Okay, go ahead, speak up. I'm like, man, get on the call and say so. You got all these ideas in the background. One thing that we're doing, I think, is, we're uniting independent record companies, independent radio stations, and DJs, and we're creating our own system of people. We have people that we can promote and market different artists through our own underground market. We don't have to go and look for those mainstream venues. So I think that's really one thing to make a difference. If we can provide a forum for artists like what we're trying to do now, potentially have everybody out on the road, on a tour, and have everyone getting paid for radio play of their songs being played. These are the same type of thing that those other guys are doing on the mainstream level. If they're getting paid for their shows, they're getting paid for radio play, they're getting royalties. So if we can offer those same things for these new artists, and they don't really have to go through the system that way. And the system is what's demanding that. Like those big major record companies, they're the ones demanding that you come and change and do more like Rick Ross or more like somebody else that, probably not really, something you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can keep there are a lot of artists who stay independent on the underground scene, and they really should be out there right now. And they're really positive. They got great messages.
Are they making money? Are they able to feed themselves?
No, that's the problem. They're not making money.
Yeah.
And what's happening now is that they start falling off because of that. And after a while, you start losing the inspiration for all of the people that believed in it. And they start feeling like it ain't going to never happen because, it's not really the music. It's the business that's just not open for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the system.
So what do you think needs to happen? What does the underground independent need to do?
The independents?
Mm-hmm.
We got to do what we're doing now. We got to come together and put together plans of generating revenue.
Mm-hmm. So that's
going through, pressing up. Like what? For instance, once we have it set where we got 1,000 people on this network, and we have a particular project on the table, we could have everybody donate $10 to that artist, and now that artist would now have $10,000. And with that, we can go and press up the music or whatever is needed to get them out there and promote it the same way a major would do. Mm-hmm. So we, within ourselves, if we had just 1,000 people, can all donate and contribute to each project one at a time until your number comes up, and then everybody give you $10, and you'll be the artist that everyone put out. So if we keep a system like that going, it's like each one teach one, as long as we're helping each other. I don't see any problems. I would do it. I would give $10 for any one of these artists in the site right now.
Absolutely.
There's some great artists, great messages. I just don't think that the business is put together properly.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't have managers. Some people just don't understand just the basics of structure and getting a company legitimate to even get a check in the business.
Yes.
So there's steps with that. And
So in other words, there's just a lot to be done on many different levels. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, and I think we got enough people in our circle now where we can pretty much facilitate all of those needs for the artists in this network. We just got to organize it and get everybody lined up. Whoever prioritize the ones who are the most ready, and the ones that are not ready, we put them into development until they're ready, and then there'll be the ones that at some point they get 10,000. Imagine we got 1,000 people and everybody donate $100. Now you got $100,000 to donate.
Oh yeah, it can be done
for a particular project. So we can generate, and that's just us without even putting a business plan together or going out asking anybody else for money. That's just us internally. So we can do it ourselves. If there are other groups out there like us, I'm sure it can be done multiple times. So I think we're doing it already. Okay.
I was also talking earlier about the fact that we can come up with some very good ideas about how to approach the problem, but what we forget sometimes is that we need organization. We need to be organized. We need to have people that are responsible for certain tasks to make sure things get done. One thing that I think causes our stuff to fall by the wayside very often is our people are accustomed to people making promises and not keeping them. And when we make promises and people get all fired up about it, and we end up not living up to what we promised, then people lose faith and they lose interest, and they just, after a while, just don't respect too much. They become kind of cynical. It's like, yeah, we've been here before. We remember when you said you were going to do this, that, and the other, and this is what happened, and nothing happened. So it's going to be important as we continue to have these conversations and come up with a strategy. I think one thing we'll need to do as part of that strategy is to come up with concrete plans for who's going to do what. We talked about getting in touch with and talking to people that are big names in the industry, getting them to be spokespersons and putting out positive messages about the music, about the language, about that genre. And I said that would be wonderful. But now who's going to communicate with these people? Who's going to write the letters? Who's going to make the contacts? And we need to organize everything we do. We need to be organized. So I'm making notes of the things that we say need to happen, and I'll be able to, compile all this stuff at some point during the conversations that we have, and then give it back to people. And we can see now, what are we going to do with this? This is because we should come up with some kind of plan out of all this.
I can tell you a couple plans right now. There are a couple ways to look at it. We could go at it like Nelson Mandela, or we can go at it like Malcolm X. Now, I would prefer the Malcolm X approach personally instead of the Gandhi approach, because nobody's going to seem to take us seriously if we come through the door begging or asking people to take heed to what we're trying to do and to support our message. I don't think asking at this point is an option. So I'm looking more along the lines of taking the throne, taking our rightful place back in this industry, in this culture, taking hip hop, taking the culture from the people who have it right now.
Okay. And
I don't think they have.
Doing that?
Well, for one, those people don't have God conscience. You can hear it in the language and the music that they're talking about. So there's not much we have to really do, because it's either one or the other. Either you're righteous or you're not. And I think once we put that out there and we give people those two options to choose, we'll just let the public let them choose their sides of who they want to go with. But I think we got to start lashing out at people who upset the balance of what we're trying to build. not to try to destroy anyone's career or take money out of their pockets or stop them from feeding their kids, but we do want to stop them from raping and destroying and ripping, taking whatever they want from this culture, doing whatever they want to do with it.
Yes.
Because I think they disrespecting everything that was being built for this culture of hip-hop right now. Because they don't have any fear of any consequences of the afterlife, so they just pretty much saying and doing whatever they want and being the most disrespectful thing they can do, letting the higher authorities manipulate them. Because at the end of the day, you don't see none of the presidents of any of these record companies with their pants sagging down, jumping on stage high and drunk.
They're wearing the best Brooks Brothers suits.
Yeah, they somewhere spending money off of our ignorance.
And sending their kids to the best schools and having their friends meet them on their yachts in the summertime where they're out in the ocean just relaxing. And when they're not using their yachts, they run them out to people like P. Diddy and people like Beyonce and Jay-Z, who rent them for $35,000 a day and all that kind of crazy mess just to be able to say they're out there on those people's yachts. It's buy your own damn yacht as much money as they're making, wouldn't you think? They have these party planes. These people have these luxurious planes, and they just party on these planes. I mean, why do you have to rent somebody else's plane, P. Diddy? Or whatever his name is now. Diddy, I guess.
Diddy.
Yeah. So, there's a mentality that we have to get away from, and I'm hearing you, Tariq, talk about being self-sufficient, and that's part of the Nguzo Saba, just the whole idea of being, self-sufficient and raising your own money and just taking responsibility for self.
Yeah. Right now, I think we owe it to the future generations to come to go in right now and take this industry by storm. We got to take over the industry. We got to, not the whole entire industry, but the hip-hop culture. We got to get it going back in the right direction. And me and Dre, we've been doing a lot of research ourselves, trying to see what angle would be the best to approach it. And I think, we're on to something right now, I believe, as far as where our roots are. If we take it back to the old school and we go back to the KRS Ones and all of the positive role models that we used to have, and we start going back to that music and pulling from that to reinvent that wheel again, we got to get it revved back up. Maybe we start, getting those people involved with our shows. We start revving everybody, not for the gangster rap, but more for the conscious stuff, like the X-Clans and things of that nature. If we get them back on the scene, or if somebody remake one of those songs and really blows up and they see, we can get money with that again, then eventually people will start converting back over to the positive side, like they want to go to heaven instead of loving being in hell.
I agree with you there. May I come in?
Yes, please. Who's this?
This is a Showtime. I agree with you there.
Oh, okay.
I think we have to go back to the root where it starts from, and it comes from the old school hip hop, and that's basically where you're going to get a sense of pride and a sense of respect and a sense of dignity in that music, without it being tainted or distributed in the wrong form to reach people. So it all starts from a positive era, and that's the era where most of the music was positive, and it continued on until it got tainted. So we have to go back to the base of it. I think that's where you start from, going back to there, like you say, the KRS Ones and the old school hip hop of those days and era, to bring that back to its purest form, to re-educate and reinvent and touch people and reach them in a certain way.
Well, I know one thing,
be the solution.
There's a group of people out there that never stop loving that music, and I know, and I'm one of those folk. But my friends' younger children, they say, Miss Bonnie, you're old school. Yeah. Isn't it lovely? Too bad we don't have any people with talent that can reproduce old school anymore. And they kind of think that's a joke. Then the joke is really on them. They just don't know the value, and we really found value in that music. It was music that was about our values and our value systems. And this, he was not a rapper, but I think about the music of like a Curtis Mayfield.
Right.
I mean, just he probably is turning over in his grave right now. But again, there's this whole argument for the music coming from various people who are in the industry who think that people have a right to use whatever language they want to and say whatever they want to, that this is a free country and that we don't have a right to anything short of that is censorship, anything more is censorship, and we don't have the right to censor what people say. And then someone says, well, but people have a responsibility to the community, and they can't just be allowed to run around willy-nilly being destructive.
Yeah, but I believe that it all gets blown out of proportion when you start going around glamorizing things that's totally negative, and then you calling the women the B word, and then you using the N word out of and taking it as lowest content. Then you are also living a lifestyle that's not healthy and doing a lot of things that not helping the community or uplifting people, but affecting the community and tearing it down.
Right.
You know, this is something that happens in every neighborhood, in every structure, and it needs to stop, and it has to go back to its purest form of hip-hop in order for that to take place and to be effective and to help our communities, I believe.
So, Tariq, are you saying that that in that instance, the kinds of things that UG-MAG has initiated are attempts at doing just that? Hello?
Hello? I don't know if he's there.
I don't know if we lost. I don't know if we lost him. That's one of the disadvantages of technology. You know.
Yeah.
It's only as good as it is.
Right.
And it's not always reliable. But at any rate, our tongues are still working, so we can keep talking.
Oh, what was that? Did I miss something?
Yeah, she was talking to you, I think.
What was that?
No, I was talking about the things that you had mentioned and some that needs to happen. I said, UG-MAG is doing some of those things already. And are you doing it, and is that your way of answering the call?
Yeah, I would think so. That's our way of answering it, but not only that, but helping other people see the picture, you know, because I don't think that we can do it by ourselves at all. I think we're definitely going to need a whole lot of different people involved from here to who knows where. We're going to have to understand the same agenda.
Yeah.
Our goal is to take the culture back from the hands of where it's at right now.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's the number one agenda, not really to get money. But, I mean, if getting money is going to help people see and recognize what we're doing is important because we see, okay, there's value in it, financial value, but there's more value that's not even financial. It's the whole education process. Like, hip-hop is our culture, and if we distort our culture right now with all of this nonsense, we're teaching our kids a culture that's not really us, when our real culture was teaching us about us, you know, from the last poets, you know, the original first rap group ever who was actually did spoken word, but they rhymed. They were teaching all of their messages. Everything was positive, and and it was something about the drums and the whole thing happening to put you in a certain zone, and that those vibes is what we needed. If you judge us to other types of music that's out there right now, the only thing that's really holding on to our culture right now is reggae, and then they try to get them too.
Yeah.
You know, but see, reggae artists, they still put religion with no problem. You don't hear too many artists. Like when Mace turned to the church, everybody was like, oh, you turned soft because now you a preacher, you a reverend. Why is that soft to be next to God? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what does it make you harder if you're closer to Satan?
Yeah.
That's stupid. And if this is what this thing is all about, I don't want to do music. Like, I just want to talk crap about everybody that do it. I don't care. And if they ever want to battle, then I'll destroy them. I don't care. I'll battle any one of these rappers out there. I don't care. But I'm always stick up for what's right. Mm-hmm. I think this industry right now is going to the garbage right now.
Well, I agree that the only way anything is going to be done about that is we'll have to do it. Because who else is invested in what we're asking people to do is to give up money. And for some individuals, it's more money than they've ever seen, they've ever imagined, or they don't know anybody that's ever seen that amount of money, even though it might not even be a lot of money, but to them it might be a tremendous amount of money. So we're asking them to now, stop behaving in a way that generates that kind of money. Then we don't think they're going to do that unless they offered something, unless there's an educational process going on at the same time, and they're transforming their minds. If there's some kind of transformation taking place. Other than that, I don't see how we're going to get people to stop doing what we think is very destructive. Hello? Is there anybody out there still? Huh?
You're right on the point with it. I mean, the key is coming up with enough people in the right places who have this agenda in mind. Mm-hmm. So, like, for instance, we have people in radio now. We have people. We have people who are able to help artists sort out what they try to do, like as far as bios and putting their press kits and stuff like that together, getting photos done properly, presenting themselves. We have people in this site right now. For instance, Amin Ra, he's a dance choreographer. So as far as putting stage presence and posture and just basic how to represent yourself as an artist, like we have people in our network that can help put all of that stuff together. If we can get everybody organized and just kind of like figure out where every artist is at, what their goal is, what their message is, and how it can be tied into this agenda. Mm-hmm. I think that's what this tour is going to be all about. Once we hit the road, and we can go back and pull from those old school artists and put them on the headline while we open up and have the new artists open up for them to give them a chance to experience that. Because some of these artists may never get the chance to go out on the road, go on a tour or anything like that. So we want to be able to open up that option for them so they don't have to go do booty shaking music just to get on a tour.
Well, it sounds very ambitious. It is ambitious, and it can be done. And again, it's going to require a tremendous amount of organization to pull that off or to work well, and not to, end up with a lot of the kind of logistical problems that can crop up when you're doing something on that scale. There have to be people designated to do certain things a certain way, a certain time, and people that people are going to relate to. You hear me talk this all the time because I truly believe that if you fail to plan, then you really have planned to fail. So I'm really a big believer in planning.
Yeah, that's what I feel as though that we're going in the right direction. This is Andre. Thank you for all the listeners participating in tonight's conversation, and think as though that we're headed in the right direction as far as letting everyone get exposed, because just like Tariq was speaking on, some of these artists were never exposed to any good music before or good content before. So if you were never exposed before, that means now you're dependent upon being educated by someone who can manipulate you as far as pointing you in the wrong direction if they wanted to, because you have no foundation. And some of it is due to laziness, because they don't do their research. You don't do the research when you have all this information out here. And some of it is just through timing.
You say timing?
Yes, timing. It just wasn't meant for you to get it at that particular time.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
But most of the members that are affiliated with our magazine or with our movement, they seem to have some common goal, some common interest, and that is to progress in their career. And also some of the businesses, as far as networking, they're missing that family essence of networking. Even though we come across we hear a lot of success stories, and they have emotion going on, but the movement that we're doing right now incorporates, or it involves everyone. It's universal. So I feel as though that's where the connection is. And when you have a universal movement, just like with the earth right now, the earth moves. It has a rotation, it has a vibration to it, it has a hum. And when you're moving in a certain wavelength, in a certain momentum, everything is in unity, everything is in harmony. So we've got that harmony. And we're just asking for all those to be patient, with understanding. We don't know everything. And it's not only us that have the resources, it's that you have the resources. But if we tap into your resources, you tap into our resources, then we could take this to another level.
Yeah, well, they were talking tonight. We talked about the fact that whatever happens, it has to be a conjoint effort, a joint effort, a community effort. It's something that has to be co-created. We can't do it. UMAG or nobody else could do it by themselves. And since we know we can't do it by ourselves, we're saying we know what needs to be done. You're saying that you have some things already in place. Then what needs to happen so that we can get the most effect out of, and the most people can be affected and impacted by what you already have going on?
All right. What we're suggesting everyone who's interested in being involved with the movement, purchase a subscription of the magazine. Those listeners who want to participate, support the artists or the businesses that are involved in the magazine. We're doing cross-promotion, business-to-business exchanges with some of the businesses that are out there. And some of the artists or groups who have artists, who have studios, who have resources. What they're doing, what we ask you to do is use the artists within our magazine and also promote UG Mag using your promo code. Develop a promo code. There's many ways that you can promote your promo code. It's a way of financial tracking your revenue. All right, with your promo code, from every purchase of a subscription, and they use your promo code, you receive some residual income from UG Magazine based off of each purchase. All right. Okay. Well, and every time that you refer an artist to be featured in our magazine, you receive residual income.
So you all have come up with a way to sort of like share the wealth.
Correct.
So it's a way that everybody. It's a win-win situation for everybody. That's
correct.
Good. That's good. Which is another reason I think sometimes initiatives don't work is because people want to say, well, what's in it for me? You know, you're gaining something, but I'm not gaining anything, and I need to be able to gain X, Y, and Z. But this way, everybody wins.
And you have some of the businesses. If some of the people look at some of the businesses that are online, what they're doing is they're placing the logo on some of their advertising, majority of their advertising. So we're creating that buzz. It's about to happen. All we ask you to do is, since you are creating that attention for yourself, is don't lose any followers. Right now they're being advertised on some of these social sites, and everyone is making more money off of your material than you are. This is the opportunity to take hold of your destiny, control your future, you know. And you could go to many different markets or many different other resources and make attempts. We're not asking you, we're not forcing you and saying, all right, you have to do it this way or no way at all. You have many options, but from what I'm hearing out there, a lot of people are, what you call pretenders, and they're misleading a lot of people, promising them a lot of rewards, and it's fake. You have a lot of good speakers, so I ask, don't believe us. I actually rather you don't believe us, because I think you appreciate more of what we're doing. But like Bonnie said, it's not only us. We can move with a movement. I heard the expression before. They said an ant can carry 10 times its weight. Now, when you have 10 ants, that's 100 times its weight. So imagine when we move in kinetic energy, when we move in energy in unison, how much the force is to overcome this cloud that's being placed right now on hip-hop. I mean, I appreciate it. I enjoy the creativity, but this is a cloud to keep you programmed. So we're doing our best. Can't do it by ourselves. We don't know everything. But those elders who do know, they're supporting, they're joining in with the deprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
And we just really enjoy your appreciation. We love your appreciation.
Well, it seems obviously as you all have thought very carefully about what you're doing, and are very clear that you need to do certain things a certain way to get a certain result. And I think that's really what it's really all about. People, you just have to really make a decision about what's important to you and how you're going to go about accomplishing whatever you say you're going to do. So,
yes.
Yeah. So
it's like for any of the artists, we have many resources you can tap into. Right now, we have our DJs that may have access to 100 clubs, people who are involved with this UG Mag online, see whether they can use some of your content in their rotation. They're offering that. Some of the authors with bookstores, look on our website. You see that what they're going to do is cross-promote with you. Mm-hmm. You have material. You can place it in their bookstore, generate a buzz, to get you placed with some of those other popular authors or writers.
So what are you all doing at UG Mag to make more people aware of these various initiatives that you have going on? I know that there are brothers in, was it Buffalo?
Yeah.
And there's a brother down in the Carolinas also that has a lot going on and radio shows. So those are two outlets. What else do you have in mind?
Well, well, just to give a little taste of what's yet to come, we're working with one of the radio stations who have 183. They have 1.5 listeners with Archie and Daniela. We're seeing whether, like you said, take control of our own destiny. You control the airways, you control the television, you control what they hear, and you control what they see.
So you're using media, the airways, as one approach. What else are you looking at as another approach?
All right, the TV right now we're getting well, first let me just continue on with the airways. We're getting it set where we can hear. We have satellite radio that you hear on the phone, so you'll get to hear 24-hour Ugmagonline music on your phone.
Okay.
So that's how some of the independent artists that are involved with us get that airplay.
So that happens through a special app or something?
Correct.
I see. All right. So
and also, go ahead.
Now, I was saying, so it's clear that you do recognize the need for exposure and to engage more and more people.
Yes. Like, that's not, right now is getting your content out there, making it heard. With the involvement with all the businesses that listen to your conversations, Bonnie, and what they do is they make a commitment to support UGMAG and also the members that are involved with UGMAG. It's just up to the members to do a little bit more research and who is participating in the magazine, who's on our site, because they look at their profile, do the research on their profile, make some comments on their pages, so they get familiar with who you are and what you do. And like I said, with some of the artists, we're putting together a compilation album with some of the artists that are featured in the magazine.
Oh, okay. So are you going to have any of those older hip-hop artists a part of that compilation?
Yes. We're going to, what we're planning to do is regenerate that foundation. You will just
what do you mean?
Just keep on cultivating that seed that was already placed. As far as in hip hop, right now there may be a little disparity going on right now as far as in the hip hop world, is the way it's seen and the way it's heard. But what we're going to do is like clean up the weeds, do our best to clean the weeds and clean our garden, so we can have better productivity for the sound that's coming out in the universe.
Is there anybody else out there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening right now.
Well, as I said before, it seems as though you've looked at some various ways of, getting your message out there, and that's what's necessary if we're going to change people's minds about things. They have to know that there's something new. You have to, really educate people. They just don't know, and I think that's something that a lot of times we don't really consider as much as we should. Is that people sometimes basically are ignorant when it comes to certain information, and that's why they behave the way they do. They just don't know.
Bonnie, you familiar with myself, my upbringing, that, all right, there's some people in the world, they never even heard of different natural instruments, like the varieties of instruments that you could play, the assortment of instruments that you could play. to create a sound to speak to the world. Like there's a variety, and right now, just that narrowness of information being out there and the ability to have access to it, I think it's adding on to the detriment of what people are hearing right now in the music world.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there's a combination of a lot of stuff going on. Number one, we don't have any control over the media, and understanding too that at some point, even though you're talking about independent artistry and independent media, there's not going to be any such thing because censorship is going to be a reality that there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it because the government's not going to allow certain things to just be said and done. It's just that simple. So, do you think that you would still be able to say what you want to say the way you want to say it, given the constraints of the media and those that control the media?
Yeah, you see, it seems like it's reversed. That you have these other television shows that are on television, and you have these other artists that are on radio, and they play all this buffoonery, all this ignorant, misguided, miseducated information, and it's a success.
Because people have been conditioned to think a certain way. That's why it seems successful.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Because they have control of the communications media. And the person that controls the communications media and the educational system as well as the penal system is the one that controls everything. Because those people are going to control the monetary system too.
But music has a wavelength. Like we were talking about that before. Sound has a wavelength where it could touch people without words through their vibrations in their soul. So if we're controlling the airways, if we're doing our best to keep our control of the airways, this little bit of noise that we're making, this little bit of sound that we're making, and we can touch the inner souls of some of these individuals, not just us, us as a family, everyone who's participating in this movement. I think that vibration could carry a long way, with the right frequency.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that, wherever there's a movement, there couldn't be movement without a vibration, even though you can't see it. And sometimes a vibration exists that you're talking about, but it's kind of not very obvious, and people sometimes say, well, they don't think that there's anything going on, no change. Very often I hear that in the community where people think that things just have not changed, and some areas that things haven't. But I think sometimes we have to look at incremental change, things that happen little bit by little bit by little bit, and then one day you look and you've had an influence. So I think that we're running just about out of time right now. But I think the note that we could end on could be one where we look at and how we can ultimately influence the tide that is going on right now in our own personal little way. So, Ugmag, you have a vehicle, a magazine, and you have, music, and you have artists, and then MC Showtime.
Yes.
You have your own venue, and Andre, you have yours, and Alton, you too. You're in the business. So, everybody. I think if we could leave the call tonight with us just thinking about one thing we can do that we can do. I don't mean something that we have to squeeze in and can't be consistent with, but something we can commit to. And we might come back next week on the call and say, well, I really am not able to commit to anything right now. But it's important.
All right. Can I start it off, Bonnie?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Can I ask this? Two things. All right. It's like a combination. Expose everyone just to the magazine. To look at the website. Just look at the website.
Okay.
And possibly if they can, once they look at it, they'll probably create a free membership. And then also, the combination is expose them to this conversation every Wednesday between 8 and 9:30 with Bonnie, and give the support. Let people get involved because this is how we network and we spread that vibration, that tune, that frequency.
Well, that's a suggestion you have.
Yes.
Of how to move forward.
Yes.
Okay. Duly noted.
Well, I'd like to add to that.
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Like he was saying, doing that, the way he can execute it is there's a program called Tweet Adder, and
there's a program called what?
Tweet Adder. It's TweetAdder. It's a program.
Tweet ADDER.
It's not ADDER. Tweet Adder.
Like adder, the snake, like the snake adder.
Yes, ma'am.
GWEEK.
Oh no, ma'am. ADDER. Tweet Adder. It's for Twitter.
Oh, SWEET.
It's TWEET. It's tweet, and then adder, ADDER.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's a program. It's used for Twitter, and it's more of a site for targeting whoever you're looking for, whatever zip code, and like what genre of music or whatnot, and you can create a message that posts on Twitter, and you can have it on automatic extent, maybe every 8 to 10 minutes with the information on it, and they don't have to follow you or you follow them. Twitter finds those people that you're looking for in that search, and it'll automatically send them that message. And you can set it up like bi-monthly or bi-weekly if you want to run automatically. So it's like it's a Twitter automatically work by itself once you set it up. So it may take maybe 30 minutes to set everything up. And once it's set up, you put it on automatic, and it works by itself constantly.
Well, you have used it?
I'm privileged. Just started using it. I'm still trying to get familiar with it, but I have it, and I'm trying to learn how to use it. It comes with I think a 60-day free trial. Okay,
because you might have to help me figure out how to do it. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to stuff like that. I don't know if Andre or Tariq, is familiar with that, but more than likely they are. So I'll also ask them to help me with that because I have no idea how to go about that.
Okay.
But that's another example of what we talked about earlier, where there's social media, that we can use social media as a way to get the word out. And that's a very good suggestion that you've made, because it's about a technology that I don't use, so something new I learned tonight. So is there anything people want to say before we close the conversation? We're at 9:30 now. Anybody want to get something in before we end tonight?
No, I'm pretty much just listening at the end. I appreciate everything that I heard, and I think we got some good things on the table. Mm-hmm. And I just hope that we come to solutions and how to help the community and the younger youth and working these situations out,
Yes. Well, MC Showtime, Buffalo, New York. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge everyone that showed up tonight because I understand how busy people's schedules are, and how sometimes people just can't, even when they want to, can't always show up. And so it's good to know that sometimes people that show up one week don't show up the next week, but people that didn't show up the week before, they show up that week. So we still have a chance to have our conversations, and that's what's important. So I just want to acknowledge everyone for showing up tonight. Thank you very much. And
no problem.
I'll see you on the phone next week.
Yes,
night,
you will.
Everybody. All right. Good night.
All right. Thanks, Bonnie. Good night.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Ugmagonline.com, the International Underground Entertainment Magazine. I'm Andre, a.k.a. Andre Dawn Magazine, with Tariq Bayen, saying peace.